From folklore to the fantastical, Part 4 invites us into Sundiata's playful side. He speaks of Caribbean superstitions and traditions, imagines himself as a ghost in a gallery, and even tells us what rumor he'd love to leave behind. This one's for the dreamers, the storytellers, and the curious souls. What is one Caribbean superstition or tradition that fascinates you, even if you don't believe in it?
Well, I don't believe in things. I know things. I don't work belief. I work knowledge, right? And I work realizations. But I am very aware that the retentions of some African belief systems incorporated into Caribbean tradition and mysticism is evident. For instance, Trinidad, Brazil, Cuba. I'm just using three. They are remnants of the Orisha religion.
Right.
You have Candomblé, you have Santeria, you have Orisha. One of the belief sects is the belief in Olokun, or the sea god.
Right.
We have Yemanja, the female deity who wears blue. And these people rule the waterways. It's a kind of female form. So you have the Mama Glow in Trinidad as part of that. Mama de Lo, really.
Right.
But we say Mama Glow. And you have Oshun too, the female deity. But I realize in these traditions, they're very much alive. And me personally, as I said, I don't believe, but I've been very much aware of their presence.
Okay.
And I think they are very, very, very much alive and active.
And how, if at all, does that play into your work?
Well, it played in my work too that I use the female form a lot.
Right.
Like many artists. But within each of my female images, I try to capture the universal female entity, which can be manifested in many ways.
Right.
I'm in the Caribbean, so I might use the remnants of the African way of interpreting the female persona, psyche, and form. But you have the Venus and Milo. You have other places universal, right? And it could just come down to the female presence energy. But I think for the believers in the system in the Caribbean, who we do have that.
Yeah.
We have people who believe in Jamanha in Cuba. They have their own rituals, the months of the year thing, in Trinidad thing. But I personally, won't say believe, but I personally has, I won't say encountered, because I don't like to discuss. As I said, I don't believe. I just realize things when they're real.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
As we enter superstitions and so on, and I know you have a little bit of a mischievous slant to you.
Oh, yeah.
If you were, a ghost haunting a gallery, what kind of ghost would you be? What mischief you would get up to?
Well, the thing is that if I was a ghost or a non-physical being doing my transcendental activity, borderless, I would be more like, I won't say Puck from Midsummer Night Dream, or the Harley Quinn, or one of those people who just disrupt things so that logic is removed, rules are removed, and truth is revealed. Basically, I would just move through and clear the bombast to let the skeletons be, bare bones be there to reveal what is. But I do that all the time anyhow in life.
Even in your physical form?
Yeah, I do that. I like to mash up static organized space when necessary to let what is necessary, come to light, basically.
Right.
Yeah, but there's a certain entity form I would take though. And it's more like the fella at the crossroads, the kind of Legba personality or Bawan Samdi personality. The kind of person that just break the logic and open the way.
Right.
And I don't want to, it's more like what the Orisha call the Esu approach. Alright?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which is pretty interesting. But things like that will be only if necessary. Because I think that when you have access to situations, it's a kind of gift, but it must be only necessary and sufficient, because you'll end up suffering from that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, when you're gone,
Yeah.
what curious rumor would you like people to spread about you?
Well, if I go on, the only rumor is that on one or more occasions I hear that, is that some people said, and some important people, it happened more, that I was one of the best draftsmen that they have ever experienced. Draftsmen, what you call people who could draw. That's the word we use in it. I've had some artists that called me and tell me that, that they never met someone who could draw like me when I really put down some drawing. I've been told that many times in the presence of fellas like Peter Doig and them. We had a line with Peter Doig and some other people. There are some international artists in Trinidad during that period. And Peter Doig would ask, this international artist, who is the person? And he told Peter Doig, look, him sitting right there, that's him. Yeah. But I know, but I found it very flattering because I never considered myself to be really that good as a draftsman. But I've heard it before.
So when you're gone, you want them to continue to spread that rumor?
No, I think it's fun. It's flattering. It's just flattering.
You mean you want to say it true, but
let them spread it as a rumor. Why? That was funny.
what would be your preference? A lime by the sea or a lime in the panyard, and why?
Well, my preference would be, but there much preference there. I think both. I think both. Both. I don't think one supersedes the other. A lime by the sea that's something I do a lot. But I visit the sea. Right? And there are certain things happen when I visit the sea. And a lime in the panyard is specific too, very unique. And it's kind of more to celebrate with not only the panis, not only with the concept of the gayal, the art, but it's also to celebrate with the, what you call the communion. Because there's some people coming in there and they know why they're coming in. Because they're saying, but if I don't make this symbolic visit, that don't mean that I'm in tune with my culture or my geographical space. Some of them won't come in and check the panyard when nothing is happening to find out if it's right. So you see, it's all of that. And it's to see how things manifest. The sea now, a lot of things going on there. Every time I go to the sea, I always remember the Middle Passage.
Right.
Because I don't think Trinidad understand how maritime our history was. It was based on. So you see, like, art like this is just a symbolism to trigger things. When you started, you could start talking about Liverpool, shipping sugar up to Liverpool.
Right.
To get refined in England, to send back to Trinidad, and you buying. And so the same thing with when I go to the sea is all of that, like same thing. The same thing when you go in the panyard. You remember all of this little hole here by phase 2. All there was swamp, all there was dung trees, but then you have the edifice, the tomb, them flats there, and everybody in the hole there. You kind of sanitize the yard every year. The yard get more sanitized like when you get the yard. It's no longer a gayal.
Yeah.
It's not a maroon space again. So it's interesting, but then too, as an artist, we are not a judge. This is a phenomenon happening now. So I go be there. Right? And when I reach down there, I get straight to work, I don't go up and pose, and I get straight to work. I say, well, let me do this, that kind of ritual. Let me do it.
And I'm gonna just point the camera at 2 pieces that you mentioned earlier you had done with at phase 2, right?
Yeah.
Those 2 pieces there.
Yeah, there's some snippets. There's people are practicing.
Yeah. Well, you are a veritable fixture down there.
I don't know. Cause when I move in there, I don't be seeing nobody, I come in at a certain time when I think things will be happening, and I go straight into it.
Right.
Right? And I pay my respects. I've sent to show you. I think you'll want to see that.
That is Bugsy there.
Yeah, man. I catch him live, and he says, he's talk quick like that. Yes, it's chotty bitch. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But Bugsy and I have a long history, That's what you don't know.
Right. No, well.
We all grew up in Binari Street. And I was Bugsy. I was the star then. Bugsy used to come and check me out. I was the singer boy and the dancer boy for Symphonettes. That was the band. Of course, I was next door. Bugsy was 5 years younger than me. And you said to put him on a box a beat. Bugsy.
Yeah, man.
Bugsy used to go Akal school, St. James Presbyterian, Woodbrook Presbyterian.
Okay.
Akal. The headmaster was called Akal. So the school was Akal School. By Roxy.
Nice, man.